There's no way around it. Every single entrepreneur and company founder experiences some level of self-doubt. It's just the truth of the matter. You hear people talking about it all the time, self-doubt creeping in. I don't know about you, but that's not my experience at all. In fact, sometimes it feels like self-doubt is a full-on attack to every bit of my thinking. If you can relate to this experience, here's the deal. There are a few things that we can do to deal with self-doubt in a meaningful and powerful way. So I've been studying some of the greats, epic visionaries who have created incredible things in this world. People like Kobe Bryant, George Washington, and Steve Jobs. In this video, I'm going to quickly lay out 3 ideas that I've learned as I've studied these amazing people and how they dealt with their self-doubt. Hey, what's up, my friends? My name is Chad. I'm a coach and a consultant to hard-driving leaders, company founders, and entrepreneurs, and this is Naked Leadership. So what prompted this video for me? Well, personally, I'm coming out of a bout of my own self-doubt, and it seems like this goes in waves for me. I don't know if you can relate to this, but it feels like a roller coaster, or it feels like, the ocean. Sometimes my self-doubt is really, really high. I'm feeling it really intensely. It permeates every thought that I'm thinking. And other times I'm lost in the work, confident in what I'm doing, and not a lot of self-doubt present. This current moment for me, I'm learning to lead a training that we offer called The Revenant. It's a 4-day intensive training where people come and learn about self-leadership and what it is that they're creating in the world. It's an intense process and it's very intricate. Those who lead it must be paying close attention and know exactly what they're doing. And all of this, learning to do this, has really bubbled up some self-doubt for me. So that made me think. It got me really curious. I wanted to learn what the legends who have gone before us, what they say about self-doubt, how they dealt with it, how they looked at it. Those who have done something really meaningful and impactful in the world. What did they do when those feelings or those thoughts came up that they weren't smart enough, they weren't good enough, they weren't fast enough, they weren't whatever. Whenever they doubted themselves, how did they deal with it? So what did I do? I dove down the rabbit hole, finding people who have done incredible, impactful things in the world, but also talked about their own self-doubt. And man, am I glad that I did. Now, I have to warn you, what I discovered is incredibly counterintuitive to what most people teach about self-doubt. What I found is that these epic visionaries were doing things very, very different than conventional knowledge or conventional wisdom. So I'm calling these counterintuitive secrets to use when doubting yourself. So as you're watching this or listening to this, you might be thinking to yourself, man, these seem like the exact opposite of what I should be doing, or this seems really, really crazy. I don't think this is going to work. If you will actually practice these principles, I can promise you will have a whole new experience with your self-doubt. Now, conventional knowledge tells you to take whatever those fears are, whatever those doubts are, and turn them in or reframe them into something positive. I don't know about you, but whenever I've tried to do this, it felt fake. It felt like role playing. It felt like I wasn't actually being with the real feelings or the real fears or doubts that I was having. And it just felt like I was maybe like putting some makeup on it. The first common principle that I've learned from these legends is to actually entertain the fears. That's right, get incredibly familiar with the fears and the doubts that you experience. Dive deep into them, leave no dark corner unexplored, shine light everywhere. Get very, very clear on exactly what it is that you are doubting or what you're scared is going to happen. There's a Stoic saying that every time I try to say it, I mess it up, but it's something like premeditatio malorum. It means the premeditation of evils. Seneca said this: what is quite unlooked for is more crushing in its effect. An unexpectedness adds to the weight of a disaster. This is a reason for ensuring that nothing ever takes us by surprise. We should project our thoughts ahead of us, or our fears or our doubts, and have in mind every possible eventuality instead of only the usual course of events. Rehearse them in your mind. Exile, torture, war, shipwreck, all of the terms of our human lot should be before our eyes. So Seneca is basically saying, explore all of your fears, all of the things that could happen. Usually the language of my self-doubt is what if? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not smart enough? And if I'm not good enough or smart enough, what does that mean? What are going to be the results? Well, I might fail. I might run out of money. People might not listen to me. And Seneca says, take those all the way to the end. Play them completely out. In my coaching and consulting work with company founders, whenever there's a fear or a doubt around something, we'll play it out completely, all the way to the end, right? So if they're worried about something happening, like you've run out of capital, now what? What would you do next? Or what would happen next? What would happen to you? What would happen to your team? What would happen to your company? What would happen to your customers? And who would it affect? And how would it affect this person or this person, this person? And through that process of playing it all out, we can actually put name and words to the things that we're so scared of and get so specific about them that the fear starts to subside because we realize that we'll survive, that we have options, that we are hard-driving entrepreneurs, company founders for a reason because we create solutions to challenges. It's amazing how the doubt and the fear subside when we get specific about what it is we're scared of. The lizard brain keeps things general so that it can keep you in fear to keep you safe. But in reality, in most cases, there isn't danger. So we want to get specific about what it is we're fearing, and the lizard brain can shut up. Carl Jung said, "What we resist persists." So if we're resisting our fears, if we're resisting our doubts, if we're making up that we suck because we have them, we're unlike anybody else, or all of these greats that we're talking about in this video, they didn't have self-doubt. If we resist that we have self-doubt, it will persist and it will get stronger. As we resist it, it's in control. Again, we give up the resistance by getting very specific about what our doubts and our fears are. Along these same lines, the great Kobe Bryant said, "I have self-doubt, I have insecurity, I have fear of failure. I have nights when I show up at an arena and I'm like, my back hurts, my feet hurt, my knees hurt. I don't have it. I just want to chill." We all have self-doubt. You don't deny it, but you also don't surrender to it. You embrace it. Listen to me. You don't need to take all the energy and focus to do the mental gymnastics to put makeup on your fears and doubts. The opportunity is just to embrace them, be with them, recognize them, don't resist them, but also don't let them dictate what you do, which will show up in our third idea. All right, idea number 2. You've all heard the idea of fake it till you make it. Fuck that. Fake it till you make it is just a way to cover up all of these insecurities. It's another way to put makeup on what it is that you're not dealing with, what it is that you're resisting. The problem is when you fake it, the feeling of being a fake never goes away, even if you get better at what you're up to. Fake it till you make it is setting yourself up for massive imposter syndrome in the future. George Washington said this to Congress when he was appointed to be the general of the New World. He said, "My abilities and military experience may not be equal to this extensive and important trust." And he said this to his loving wife, Martha, in relationship to the call, that so far from seeking this appointment, I have used every endeavor in my power to avoid it, not only from my unwillingness to part with you and the family, but from a consciousness of its being a trust too great for my capacity. But he also added, as it has been a kind of destiny that has thrown me upon this service, I shall hope that my undertaking of it is designed to answer some good purpose. The thing I love about these two quotes from George Washington is here he is, and he's appointed general of the army of the New World. There's so much unknown. There's so much strategy that's needed. This is a grassroots effort towards a very established army. And George Washington makes no mistake. He makes no bones. He doesn't play into any other story other than his insecurities and his self-doubt. So the second idea that I want to present to you from this example is be open with your self-doubt. Claim it out loud to those who it scares you most to claim it to. I make up, and you may be similar, I make up that if I vocalize my self-doubt, if I vocalize my insecurities or my fears, that trust will diminish. So if I'm in a role of authority or if I'm in a role of leadership and I've got people depending on me, I can make up that if I voice my fears, then they won't trust me anymore. And that is the complete opposite. What will happen is if you vocalize your self-doubt, if you vocalize your insecurities to your team, to your people, to your family, what will happen is if they care about you, they will rally, they will help you, they will understand your concerns, they will understand your fears, and they'll be able to act in accordance to those in order to make everybody more successful. What will also happen for you is that those fears and those doubts and those insecurities start to subside because they no longer have power. Just like Jung said, what we resist persists. When we no longer resist it and we claim it, it loses its power. So, idea number 2, claim your self-doubt boldly, especially to those you fear most knowing. All right, my friends, idea number 3. Steve Jobs said most people never pick up the phone. Most people never call and ask. And that's what separates sometimes the people who do things from those who just dream about them. You gotta act. You gotta be willing to fail. You gotta be willing to crash and burn. The greatest tragedy that self-doubt perpetuates is that it keeps most people from acting, from just doing the work. So the third principle is go to work. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, and it was no surprise to you that everybody experienced self-doubt. The thing that separates the pros from the amateurs is that the pros feel the self-doubt. They do all the things that we've already talked about, and then they just go to work with the doubt in tow. The amateurs allow it to stop them. They stew so much in the self-doubt and insecurities that they never move or take action. My encouragement to you is that even as you're dealing with your self-doubt, even as you're getting to know it better and shining the light on it, you can still work. Even when self-doubt permeates every thought that you have, you can still go to work. And guess what? Just like the other 2 principles that we talk about, as you take action, as you work, that self-doubt starts to subside. It starts to lose its power because we're no longer resisting it. We're just going to work. Vincent van Gogh said this: if you hear a voice within you saying you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. Just take the next step. Pick up the phone, write the first chapter, and put your name on the list at the open mic. Look, my friends, I hope this video has been helpful. If there's anything that struck you or helped you see something in a different way, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see more content like this. And remember, your people are counting on you.